Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. Welcome to part 2 of this tier list where we are ranking anime and VTuber related controversies. Of course, this is very subjective, so feel free to disagree with my decisions and let your opinions be known in the comment section down below. But as a general rule of thumb for my rankings, something will be ranked higher depending on how controversial it is, or how funny it is, or how memorable it is. So without further ado, let's jump into this tier list. The first controversy is the Mori and Connor NTR situation. So earlier this year, some Hololive fans were upset after discovering a growing friendship between Hololive's Mori and Cdawgva, or simply known as Connor to most of you. Now, this was a crazy theory based off of Twitch and Twitter interactions between the two, but it gained enough support to rile up a lot of discussion and hate towards Mori. And at some point she noticed these things and replied to a tweet sharing the beautiful artwork you're looking at now, which is of course a reference to a now infamous panel from the Rent-a-Girlfriend manga where the main protagonist is having NTR fantasies. Of course, in this case, it is Connor and Mori doing the business and the deadbeats or the Mori fans watching in horror. Now, she replied with a sarcastic response like beautiful artwork or something, but here's the crazy thing. For the people who were already angry about this did two things. Either they felt disrespected by her sarcasm, or, believe it or not, in their minds, this confirmed their suspicions about their relationship. Needless to say, this was something we covered on the channel. It was a lot of laughs. It was funny, not the most memorable, but to me, this is an example of a classic B-tier controversy, a very solid one. Solid, much like the sponsor of today's video, Factor. Take it away, pre-recorded Rev. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the generous sponsor of today's video is Factor. Now you can use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGREV130 for $130 off across 6 boxes. Now what is Factor? It is a trusted meal delivery service that will save you time, energy, and money by bringing fresh, ready-made meals to your doorstep. And with a menu updated weekly, which includes over 27 meals and over 34 add-in options, Factor has the perfect set of meals tailored to your taste. Now, as you guys know, I love anime girls, but I also love fitness. And in your fitness journey, there is nothing more important than having a good, solid diet. And I can attest as a proud Factor customer, their meals will not only offer healthy, good options, but also ones that are delicious as well. And with fresh ingredients and easy to follow instructions, even a doofus like me who can barely crack an egg will be making meals that look like they were made by a 5-star chef. Again, use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGREV130 for $130 off across 6 boxes. Every purchase using that code greatly supports this channel and gives you guys access to a product that I truly believe in. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring this video, and enjoy the rest of the video, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, and now we return to our second controversy, the Anya controversy. Now, this one has many different layers to it, but I want to focus on the 2 pillars of this controversy. The first one, coming shortly after the first episode, there was a viral TikTok claiming that the character Anya was being sexualized by Spy Family because she would blush whenever she was around her father. Now, obviously, this misunderstanding of a father-daughter relationship was exemplified by this fatherless behavior behind this TikTok, but nonetheless, it was clowned on severely for many, many weeks, and the user who made the TikTok tried to double down and act like it was a joke, even though it clearly was not at first. But nonetheless, that was a pretty funny arc. The second pillar I want to focus on was towards the end of the most recent controversies, and that had to do with Anya's artwork. In particular, the aged up artwork of Anya. Now, one artist in particular, Sakami-chan, made multiple posts of an aged up version of Anya, which stirred a lot of controversy on Twitter, controversy that this artist was looking for. They were trying to poke the bear and get more attention, and guess what? They succeeded greatly. Like I said, we've had a lot of fun with the Anya controversies on this channel. We covered a lot of stuff, and honestly, it could be frustrating at times, but there was a lot of good laughs, and to me, this is a very solid A tier of a controversy. Next up a very interesting one, the Cimrai drama, which many people were surprised that I didn't cover this drama on my channel because it was very relevant to what we normally talk about, but you'll see why I didn't do it in a second. So Cimrai is now retired, but Cimrai used to be a pretty popular VTuber, and one thing about her was very clear. She was against anything to do with lolly or lolicon. And in fact, her first big drama involved a lolly VTuber. She found herself in a competition. It was like Best VTuber Thighs of the Month. She was a finalist alongside another VTuber who at the time was using a lolly VTuber model. And she spurred out on Twitter. She got super upset. She started slamming the lolly VTuber model, and it got that person harassed, and she wanted nothing to do with the competition because in her eyes, they were sexualizing children with her competition, the lolly VTuber model. So this just ensued for a while. She's battling with lolicons constantly. Anyone who disagrees with her, she's the type who will argue with anyone. You could have a 2-follower Andy who calls her out, and she will respond on Twitter, which is why this drama just carried on for so long. It got to a point where Cimrai got tired of arguing, and she wanted to make her final statement on the matter. So she uploaded what was like a 12-minute video on YouTube explaining her entire thought process on lolly, lolicon, anything like that. And to me, it was a very ill-advised video. The whole time I was just thinking to myself, girly, get a script or some bullet points or something, because she was going in circles the whole time. At one point even saying, and I don't know if it was really her intention, but she was basically saying lolly stuff is wrong and predatory, but the sexualization of teenagers in media is okay. It was sloppy, and it led to even more bashing of Cimrai on Twitter, which at that point, I was all in. I was like, this makes a lot of sense. It's the kind of stuff we cover on this channel. I'm gonna go for it. But then some really messed up things happened, and I lost all interest. So one bad actor out there decided to hire an innocent Japanese artist to commission lolicon hentai of Cimrai's model. And of course, this artist thought they were doing a good thing. They posted their artwork, the commission that was paid for, and they tagged Cimrai. And of course, Cimrai was disgusted by this. And understandably, like I said, I think some of her views on the topics, the related topics, are wrong. They're very flawed. But at the same time, it is completely valid for her to be disgusted by this topic. And someone saw this trigger for her, and paid an innocent artist to make this art, which also got the artist harassed, who was doing absolutely nothing wrong. And to her credit, Cimrai made sure that people stopped harassing that artist. But nonetheless, that was a disgusting thing that happened. But to make matters even worse, another bad actor took a picture of Cimrai's real-life face and then photoshopped it onto a lolly character that was being sexualized. And at that point, I was done. I didn't want any part of this. It was a mess. And there was really, somehow Cimrai ended up being the victim in this situation, and even retired her character within the next week of all this happening. She has since moved on to another persona, and she's doing her thing. That's great. But this is a weird example of a controversy where she really was dug into a corner, but a few bad actors really ruined the situation, and it didn't end in a satisfying way for anyone. So to me, this is a D tier controversy. So next, we have the Totally Not Mark versus Toei Animation controversy from earlier this year. For those who don't know, Totally Not Mark does a lot of anime reviews, typically involving, the biggest shows for him are Dragon Ball and One Piece from Toei Animation. He makes very long, very well-structured reviews. Absolutely fair use under YouTube policies. However, one day, after years of being a model citizen on YouTube, Totally Not Mark wakes up to 150 copyright takedowns filed by Toei Animation. And of course, he fights them, right? And there was an email log of their decision making, because Toei had to approve or reject his counter notifications. they rejected all 150 within a matter of minutes. Basically meaning that they didn't even look at the 20 plus minute videos that they were claiming. This became a very public thing. A lot of big YouTubers covered this topic, and it got millions and millions of people watching his channel and seeing what was going on with Toei Animation. People were upset. It showed the flaws with the copyright system. However, we didn't really get the greatest ending. YouTube did, to YouTube's credit, they did help him out. The problem is you're dealing with Japanese law, Japanese copyright law that is very strict, and then US law, which is a little more lenient, and then you have YouTube's policies in the middle. And they tried to work out a negotiation. It took a lot of time, it took months, but eventually a good portion of the videos were reinstated, but again, not the perfect ending, because everything he did was fair use under YouTube policy, and really just a scary situation that I'm sure took a lot out of him. And it was in some ways inspiring to see a lot of people rally behind him, but obviously he shouldn't have had to go through that in the first place, and it wasn't the cleanest end. So to me, this is a C tier controversy. Next up, this is a very interesting one, kind of a 2-for-1, the Vtuber tag controversy. And of course, you're looking at ElisabeteTV, one of the main actors in that controversy. So many months ago, there was a big controversy where certain streamers were being called out for falsely using the Vtuber tag. Simply put, they were not VTubers, they were people using face cams, and they would add the tag VTuber on their Twitch streams to get more discoverability. And obviously they weren't VTubers, so they were abusing the tag system. VTubers started calling this out, and in a weird twist, many of the people abusing the tags got very upset and defensive over this, and no one more than ElisabeteTV. It was something we covered on this channel. It was a riot, okay? It was annoying, but it was a riot at the same time. She, during one of her streams, was called out for using this VTuber tag. And at the moment, she obviously was not using a VTuber model. She was, in fact, bent over on all fours with her ass in front of the camera and reading her DMs live while she was streaming. And one of the DMs, like I said, was calling her out for using the VTuber tag. And she responded on stream in that moment and had a complete, utter meltdown. And it was hilarious. She did everything to call VTubers pedophiles. The whole genre is for pedophiles, that, you know, they're a bunch of gatekeepers, and even implying that they might be racist because they're not giving it to her or letting her have the tag. It was a complete, utter mess. And then she had a complete schizophrenic breakdown on Twitter, eventually leading her to getting a week-long ban on Twitch. Eventually she came back. I don't know if she's still using the VTuber tag to this day, but the reason this drama felt kind of underwhelming is because there really wasn't a great solution to all this. She came back, and many people continue to exploit the VTuber tag to this day, and Twitch's response to all of this, well, was, we'll deal with it in 2023. The only thing I can say is at least this was a fun ride. It might have had a disappointing end, but watching her meltdown over this, honestly, it was peak content. Some of my favorite videos I've ever made. So in remembrance of that, the VTuber tag situation and the Elisabeti drama gets a B tier. Next up, you've probably all been waiting for this, the Rushia drama. I can think of no drama out there, VTuber drama that is, that got more attention than this. So to make a very, very long story short, earlier this year, Rushia accidentally showed Discord DMs between her and the Japanese singer Mafu Mafu. Japanese fans who are used to the girlfriend experience she provided and the typical idol culture that was familiar around there were very, very angry about this because they thought there was the possibility that she had a boyfriend. And the reaction to this in the West was the complete opposite. People were dumbfounded. How was everyone so upset about this? However, things continue to progress, and the main staple of her audience, the Japanese audience, was still very angry. So to clear her name, Rushia went to what is aptly known as the Japanese Keemstar and violated her non-disclosure agreements to share some company information, some personal information to help clear her name of this controversy. However, like I said, she violated her contract in the process with Cover Corp and Hololive, and to make a very long story short, she was eventually terminated from the company, and to this day is on pretty good terms with the company and everyone involved, and there's nothing but respect from her former colleagues. But we all know how that ended, and now she is, of course, working as Nazuna with VShojo. But to me, there is no VTuber drama that exemplifies an S tier ranking more than this. Whether you like the outcome or not, whether it was sad, whether it bothered you think it was handled good, bad, whatever, it's arguably the biggest VTuber drama that's ever happened. And finally, I want to end on a goofy note. Who else but Mori having another controversy, one of her 50, because people are looking for any reason to cancel her these days. Roughly, maybe about a year ago, Mori was having some issues with her stream, and people were wondering what's up with her, and her excuse was that she was sick, and that she was hitting the lean a little too hard after having some drinks. Now, for those who don't know, lean is a recreational drug where you mix codeine from cough medicine and other things with either Sprites or other sweet drinks or alcohol. And basically, if you don't know, it'll really mess you up, okay? And people saw her say that she hit the lean after her stream, and people were like, what is going on? Because she found herself in some drama, responding to hate and stuff, and people were like, why is she doing all that stuff? And she basically said she mixed her wine with her cold or cough medicine, whatever she had, and it may have made her a little cloudy. But the way she described it, she made it sound like she was taking lean, which is a very common drug taken in the rap game. And her excuse following, all the people are like, Mori just said she does lean. She basically said, wait, I misunderstood what lean was, and that is my fault. I didn't mean it like that. It was very weird, and the funniest thing about this whole controversy was a lot of Zoomers and younger people discovered what lean was. It was like a big shock to them, even though most people did, and certainly any rapper should know what lean is. But nonetheless, it was funny, just kind of a goofy one and quick and passing by, but I wanted to end on a sillier note. So to me, the lean situation, C tier ranking for me. But that's gonna do it for this second edition of the anime and VTuber related controversy tier list. I hope you all enjoy it, and like I said, make sure to let your opinions be known in the comments section down below. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.